Get ready. It's time. Christina, Catherine, Lisa, Amy, and Lauren. Welcome to the Cimorelli Podcast.
Hey, I'm Christina.
I'm Catherine.
I'm Lisa.
I'm Amy.
I'm Lauren.
And we're Cimorelli.
Welcome back to
The Cimorelli Podcast.
We're back.
Yay, we're back.
We're back. The wig is back. We're all back. This is our 6th member now. I'm just kidding. So this is episode
Honestly,
109.
I
What?
should get a wig.
You should.
For days like today.
Oh my gosh,
You
what would
really
it
should
be?
do
a wig episode where we all wear wigs.
Wait, yes!
But do like
yes!
good
like
wigs.
real wigs.
Like
yes.
not
yes.
like some rumpled
Like
blue
profesh- like-
bachelorette
You can do
party.
whatever
What
you
would we
want.
talk about in that one specifically?
Doesn't
Nothing
matter.
Hair,
specific.
Doesn't matter.
You
Appearance?
just have the
Oh, it
wigs
doesn't
on.
go with
It
it?
doesn't have to go
It's
with
just
it.
a wig.
I think it'd be fun.
Well, if you
like
guys
that.
have a good idea of like viewers, if you're like, ooh, if you're all wearing wigs, you should talk about this.
Wigs.
Tell
I'm
us.
just kidding. Listen, I put this outfit together without really looking at it. I planned my first one, and this one I was like, oh, I hope this is good. So I'm really happy
I
right
like
now.
it.
Thank you.
I
Thank
think it's
you.
I think it's
Cool.
fun.
Thank you. It was just a pipe dream that came to life. So
Oh, proud of you.
today we're talking about motherhood. You two get out. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
We're talking
No.
about more specifically, right? Postpartum fitness,
Yeah, and
body
health.
image, health, all that. I mean, we're not
Yes.
talking about like supplements or whatever,
And
but
me
you know.
and Amy are gonna be Oprah.
They're gonna
asking
be
you.
Yes, I just saw a clip of Oprah where Michael Jackson's like, and it was like, and then she's like, so were any of the rumors true? And then she's like, and she keeps thinking about, well, I thought none of it was true except, and he won't stop
that
singing.
real?
It's really old. She was like 30.
I need to
She was
see
like
that.
30.
I need to see
Look it
that.
up because I think he didn't want to answer the question, so he was just like, and
I
she was
gotta
like,
say, the most iconic
she
Oprah
looked
moment.
at the camera like 10 times, like, what do I do?
I love bread.
No, the most iconic. Oh yeah, I love Fred. No, the most iconic one is. Were you silent or were you
silenced?
No, Brad's more iconic, but that's a close second. So we're gonna dive into it.
I can relate to that. I was
wait,
silenced.
With
Okay.
what?
Highs and lows.
Highs and lows. But first, a message from our sponsor, Christina,
It's not a message from our sponsor.
our leader,
From our elder, our
Oh,
leader.
God. A message from the eldest.
Yes. Okay, so you guys, you're going to see half this episode if you're on YouTube. If you want to see the full one, you got to go to Patreon where we have all of our full episodes, including the last seasons. We have some amazing episodes on Patreon, like such good ones. Like today on my, today I was like referring someone to a story like, oh, we did a story about like adulting, whatever, that I think is only on Patreon. Yeah, I looked on YouTube, the one I'm looking for. And I'm like, oh, I really want you to see it, but it's only on Patreon. I'm like, this is such a good one. Because we're not just going to be like, oh, we can only put the best ones on YouTube. We're like, we got a great episode. It might go on Patreon. It might go on YouTube. So join Patreon. Link is in the description. You're supporting us, supporting the podcast, and you get all the full episodes. Plus, we do a bunch of other fun stuff there, like Patrons of the Week. We do like live streams with you guys.
Answer your comments.
We do lots of stuff.
Skype with us.
You guys get to be a part of the episodes. We have a lot of patron involvement in these episodes, as you'll see today. So let's start with our highs and lows.
I'll start.
Everyone's unprepared. Go, Lauren.
My low is I got sick.
You already said
Yes.
People can be sick.
plus.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Wow.
Anyway, I got sick. And my high though was that before I got sick, I started taking my fitness regimen more seriously, which maybe I took it too seriously, which is part of why I got sick. I don't think so. I think it was just a virus.
Yeah, like sometimes
Lisa.
you can't avoid getting sick. It's not your
Yeah,
fault.
but I was actually really excited because, as some of you know who saw our episode about some other fitness
Our
thing,
fitness journeys?
our fitness journeys,
I
I
think
said
that's on
that
our Patreon.
one of my goals was to do a pull up. So I for the whole year. Okay, I'm not anywhere near that yet, but you know, I started a regimen for that goal. And I've been working at it since January, okay, guys? I didn't give up. I'm still going.
Good
But I
girl.
kind of fell off a little bit for personal reasons. But then I decided to get back on it. And I was just really excited because I just was pushing myself more than I really have before. And it was actually like exciting. So I was actually like seeing results. I was like, oh, I'm actually sore. And I just was like, whoa, I like woke up and was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to work out. And it was fun.
Did this happen after our talk?
Yes. Yes, Lisa.
Wow.
I'm sore because I fell
Wait,
into a
you guys
tripod.
actually
but
went
it's a
on the
different
walk
story.
that you threatened to
Yes.
go on
Yes,
our
we
podcast.
did.
Yes, we did.
Oh
right
my
after that, we went on the walk.
gosh.
It was talking about wow.
You look happy and healthy.
Wow.
We are.
I remember that. Oh.
No, I think that's good.
Like,
What do
maybe
you
I
know?
would invite. Yeah.
So that's it.
All right. Let's start with a high. My high was, I do this general like same walk all the time and I love it, but I've been branching out lately. And the other day I was feeling it. It
What
was a
time of
beautiful
day do you go?
I usually go later in the day after work. I go at like
Oh.
5 o'clock.
So I feel like I just have such a hard time going on walks lately. I feel like it's never the right time, but probably the afternoon, is it?
Yeah, I mean 5 o'clock after work. The weather's been really nice lately. Lily
Yeah,
doesn't go
it's
to bed
been
till
so nice.
7:30, and it's right nearby, so it's pretty good. Yeah, so I just was feeling it. The weather was beautiful, and I was like, I'm not gonna turn down the street. I'm gonna go straight because this is a large neighborhood. There's a lot to explore. And I went straight, and I just kind of found my way. I looked at my GPS, like, let me make sure. I got to get home, and I really have to pee. Make sure I'm heading towards the bathroom. And I found my way, and I discovered all these new beautiful homes, beautiful decor, beautiful patio furniture that I had not seen. And that is my passion when I walk, is taking in the scenery. What's their patio
Taking
like?
in the
What
scenery.
cushions?
Yeah, literally, when we went on that walk, all we talked about was the houses, pretty much.
I like doing that.
They're like,
I
"Ooh,
like
look at that."
Don't you want a double balcony
Well,
like
there's
that?
a lot
Yes.
of interesting houses, so there's a lot to
It's a
talk
lot.
about.
I do that, and I comment on the same house every time. I can't help it.
Like, wow.
Oh, that's my dream house on this street. Yeah. So anyway, I just discovered a whole new area of this place that I've been walking a lot, and I really loved it. What was my low? Oh, my low is, it's not that low, but I ran out of groceries, and I've yet to replenish them. So
I keep doing
my
that.
like
gosh.
eating on the fly, where I'm like, ah, crap, oh goodness. So I can literally order more. I don't even have to go get them, but I need to do that.
That is not right.
It's really rough. And I've been tracking my macros and my calories and all of that, of like, make sure I'm getting enough and meeting my goals, and I've not been hitting those at all because I ran out of food. So I really got to get back on it, but I actually have some fast food arriving right here. So
Oh my
watch
gosh.
me hit my protein goal.
my
for it.
gosh.
Thank you.
Protein.
Thank you.
Protein.
That could not have been better time.
That is not right.
Thank you. Thank
Okay,
you.
should I go?
Yeah, you can go.
Excuse my crinkling.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not being picked up by this mic.
So, my high.
It is. That's our sound man. It is. Oh well. Let me just get this really open really quickly. It's not
such a
open yet.
silent
Okay, there
moment
we
of
go.
judgment.
Take it out and
Wow.
then we'll start.
Go for it.
Okay, my high is that. My high is that Barrett has reached a new developmental place where I can do a lot of things that I couldn't do now with his help. So, for instance, loading the dishwasher, I couldn't do that when he was around for months on end. So I had to wait until he was sleeping or someone was with him, which is really annoying.
Wait, why?
Because he would climb in it or
Oh.
try to like take things out and throw them. So
He's like unloading it as you're loading.
yes, so he helps me now. I'm like, here,
That
can
is
you load this?
so cute.
And then he like puts it in,
Oh.
and I give him silverware. That's not knives.
Not a
obviously.
knife.
Yeah, I save. All I do is I save all the knives and anything like really breakable that's like down low. I just save that on the counter for later, and I give him everything else.
Aw,
So it was amazing
Barrett.
to be able to load the
So
dishwasher.
cute.
And then laundry, he helps with laundry every time now. Instead of being like, hold me, whatever, he'll like, I can put him down and then I can give him the laundry and then he puts it in the dryer. And then I hold it. He's like, oh, help, meaning I want to help start. So he starts it. He knows exactly. He's like, boom, ready
Maybe
to press
he's a
it.
2.
What?
I honestly keep thinking that
Of
about Barrett. I'm like,
Enneagram.
he's so helpful.
It's a joke.
Oh.
The helper. Okay.
Oh, wow. I didn't hear what you
so
said.
cute.
I said maybe he's a 2.
He is so helpful.
No.
You wouldn't know that.
But yeah, it's a high because then I had a day where I got all these chores done and I was like, wow. Finally, until I have a newborn in a couple months. So we'll see what happens.
Oh, that's so wild.
My game plan so far, which I don't know what's going to happen, is I'm just going to wear her, which Barrett wouldn't allow himself to be worn by me, so it's a problem. But my thing is, she's just going to like it, I hope. And I'm fingers crossed.
You know what people
I hope I
talk
can just
about?
wear her for everything. That's my
Baby
hope.
wearing, the baby instantly, for me with Lily, hits like 1,000 degrees.
Yes.
And then you hit 1,000 degrees, and then they're sweating, and it's like, this can't be okay.
I tried out like 3 different types of wraps. I'll have to talk to you about wraps later because
I
I
have to
have
keep the
some
house-
opinions.
I have to keep the house cold.
Some wraps are really warm. You don't want those.
Oh.
Especially
Yeah.
for our twins. They run so warm.
But anyway, that's my game plan is I can wear her all the time, and I don't know if that's going to happen. But that's just what I'm hoping for. So I forgot my lows. Oh, my low was that I hit like a low, one of those like low energy points where you're just like, ugh. But then I hate it when I have like hit like a low energy, like burnt out point, and then I can't pinpoint what things I've been like, we're kind of repressing and not like expressing and whatnot, because normally journaling really helps me get out. A couple solid days of journaling normally helps me get out of that. So that's annoying. So I did a good intensive journaling session this morning, and I think I need like 1 or 2 more, and then I should be getting out of there. So fingers crossed.
Journaling's like cleaning out the drain, you know?
Basically, yes.
It's like
It's really
unclogging the
clogged.
drain. That's how it feels for me because I let everything get very
Except for it's clogged with invisible
emotionally.
things, and I have to figure out what they are.
See,
is the
wait,
problem.
I said this, and I think other people agreed or didn't agree. I was like, do you ever feel like your emotions is like a black bag, and you're like, you're feeling around, you're like, wait, what is this thing? Like, I know there's something in there, but I don't know what it is. And you're like trying to figure it out, and then you're like, oh, it's anger. Okay, this is why.
Yes.
Because I just am so out of touch with my emotions a lot.
Yep.
Okay,
is
so
relatable.
my high, kind of similar to yours, developmentally for the twins, this is like an ongoing thing that they started doing like a couple weeks ago, and they've just been doing it so much, and I literally stop in my tracks and just stare at them, and I'm like, this is magical. I think I sent you guys a video. They will sit and they're like rolling around like crazy on their play mat, and I'm in the kitchen like making breakfast. So it always happens when I'm making coffee for some reason, because every time I try to make a video, you can hear like the coffee machine going. But I'm in the kitchen making coffee. The twins just start looking at each other and cracking up.
Oh yeah.
Like they're
You sent
having an
that.
inside joke, like
It's so funny.
and like just seeing the way that they look at each other, like they just like love each other. You can tell they love each other. Especially Leo looks at Dom like with this look. Leo will freeze in his tracks and just look at Dom. And I say he looks at him like he's the president of the United States. Like he just looks at him like he's the coolest guy ever. And Dom's
president.
kind of just like chilling. And Dom will smile at Leo too a lot. But something about the way Leo looks at Dom is like,
Wait, is Dom older?
yeah. It's like even though they're the same age though, but like
I
he
think
looks
he
up to
knows.
him. It's
Yeah.
so cute, and they just like
cute.
giggle and crack up, and I'm like, wow, this is so magical. Like all the hard parts of having twins, it's like worth it for that part specifically. And then my low was the other night. I don't even know what this happens to me like once every 6 months or something. I just have this feeling of like no one sees me. I'm invisible, and a lot of times it's when my husband is having like a really long week where he had like a lot of extra things at work, and he's just like really burnt out. And I'm like, notice me, just talk to me. And he's like, sorry, even though like he was doing that, you know, the week before and the week before that. But like last week, I just felt like he wasn't like noticing me.
Oh, it's like feeling insignificant. That's how I
Yes.
feel.
Unseen.
That's what it is. It's insignificant.
Yes,
yeah.
Because you're
it's a need for
insignificant to
significance.
yourself.
Yes, I was triggered because he didn't help me with the stroller. And he like, which we had talked about this whole thing, but it was like, he was like, oh, I have to go back into work because I went to this work event. And then I was like, I like texted him like, you didn't help me with the stroller. Like, you shouldn't have left me. He's like, I shouldn't have. I'm sorry. So anyway, I cried. I was just like, I just want to be seen and appreciated. So it was like a low, but it was a low turned high because we had a really good conversation about it, and he comforted me, and it was good. So yeah,
good.
it ended up being a good thing, but it was kind of sad in the moment.
I mean, usually that means you're not like significant to yourself.
I know. I was like thinking,
You're
like, this is definitely
I
not
always
your
tell myself
responsibility.
that.
That's kind of the
You're
conclusion
like,
I came to.
maybe I haven't been taking care of,
It's so annoying, but true.
Yeah, it's true.
and it's
I did kind
never
of come to
about
that.
the stroller.
Yeah, the stroller is just a
myself.
metaphor.
No, it
to
happens
carry
to me
too much.
every once in a while. I'm like, no one will
So
help me with this, that, and the
annoying.
thing. I'm like, it's not the stroller.
I gotta help
It's
myself.
not the nugget, it's the
It's
lie.
the lie.
Yeah.
It's not the nugget. Okay, I will
Lisa says that she
say
eats the nugget.
my low was when I felt like I was getting sick for a few days and I had to cancel my social plans.
Wait, you're really giving PTA meeting with that white
That's
jacket?
what I thought.
I like it. I
It's
like
okay.
it. And the
No.
hair.
And yeah.
Thank you.
The hair and the jacket
There's
is PTA.
I had to cancel my illustrious social calendar, and it was really difficult. And then my
Okay,
other,
I'll
it was
just complain
sad.
about it. Don't give me sad I had to cancel. I just complain.
No, because
complain.
it
I have
made
so
me-
much to do. So much to do.
It made me feel like I was depressed because I was living my depressed person life, but only because I had to actually rest. But I was like, I'm depressed, and I was like, wait, I think I'm just like resting because I'm kind of like fighting something off. So I think that's like different than emotionally canceling everything because you don't want to be around people. I think
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
But it was just like it always gets me in that place of like deep depression though, where I'm like, ew. I hate resting when I'm sick. It makes me so sad.
Aw.
And then, oh my gosh! Wait one sec. My high is that I feel like I've been making a lot of new friends lately, and it's been really fun.
Wow.
Wow, so two
I wanna
social
do
related
that.
things.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe I don't.
it's been so fun.
I need to connect with friends. Oh, yeah,
You
I
need
keep
to
thinking.
get okay. You need
I
to
have
connect
plans
with the
on
friends
Friday.
that you have. Yeah,
I have plans on Friday, so I'm just saying.
good for you.
I know. I just need to actually make plans. I just refuse to make them. I'm like, oh, I have time off. I am just resting.
But why don't you just have a friend come over and rest with you?
Because most of them, it's just a little bit difficult. Friends with kids, you gotta like get the right timing.
Yeah.
Your friend, you need to
blah,
have a few friends that don't have
It's
kids.
like, oh, my
and
kid
then they
naps
can be
from
more
10
free.
to 12. Oh, my kid naps from 12 to 2. Oh, well, I guess we
I just have to put in a little effort,
Yeah.
but I'm a little tired. So we'll get there. We'll get there. Okay, so guys, we're gonna react to your reactions. We're gonna hear your feedback about the last. Okay, not the last last episodes. Whatever. It's gonna be the episode that has a great title, which is "Why Catherine Lies to Her Husband."
Incredible.
I don't even know what
Guys,
I said
that's-
that got that
Don't
title.
give it away.
Oh,
If you haven't seen it,
so
but
funny.
it is a real thing. Just saying, it's not. It's
We
not a
talked
lie.
about it in the episode. We're like, oh, we shouldn't title it this. It was like a joke.
I know. Yeah.
Okay, so
I just don't remember what I said.
I'm on Patreon reading your guys' reactions to this.
Oh, man.
And it was the toxic trait, the first toxic
Yes, it
traits
was,
episode.
indeed.
And you guys were like, please do the part 2, which yes, we did the part 2. And everyone's saying like this is one of their favorite episodes. They're cracking up, blah blah blah, stuff like that.
good.
And then I just want to read this one, Heather C. This is by far one of my favorites. I mean, gut laughing. I looked like Lauren through half the episode. I don't know what that means.
Oh, Lauren was like having a meltdown. She was laughing so hard.
Oh, yeah.
See, I'm glad Amy's
Love to
the person I reference because she has to watch them for approval. So she's watched them the most recently. So Kath, you tell him. I am definitely going to be using 2 lines from you. What I do doesn't affect you.
Thank you. It's true.
Kath had a rant, which was that.
She had her
what
bull
I do
roast.
doesn't affect you.
It was great.
And then I'm filled with salt. I am the ocean. She's going to use that one too.
Wait, I said that?
You
Yes,
did.
Kath,
course
you
you
did.
did.
That's how you ended your rant.
Guys, I have no memory. I have the memory of a goldfish. My brain overloaded.
That
all
was
the
a
time.
really good episode.
It was.
Because
That was
first of all,
fun.
you need to figure out why Kath lies to her
Hey,
husband.
I don't even remember.
Kath, wait, can I tell you or no?
No,
No.
don't tell. They have to go watch it.
I
for
gotta
the
watch it
notes.
to see.
Okay, Kath,
You can't
watch
give it
then.
away.
I
You can
just
tell Catherine.
didn't know I lied to.
You can tell Catherine, but don't tell them.
It's probably a white
She
lie.
forgot. What?
Probably a black.
No.
a black lie of
That's a really good one. It's a good episode. And then,
then.
yeah, Kath's rant at the end. You can see that, which is
Yeah,
funny.
you guys were way more laughing than I thought you would at that.
Because it was so funny.
What I do doesn't affect you.
Because I've literally said that sentence anyway so many times. That was a good one. You guys should definitely watch it.
Okay, so now should we go to the 5 perspectives?
Yes.
So everyone submitted different like questions. Everyone meaning them, us, we,
All of us.
and then I just pick a random one each week, and we give our 5 perspectives on it. So this one, I'm pretty sure this is Amy. Do you sort your laundry?
No,
Yeah.
What does
What
that
does
mean?
think that might
It's
be
someone
me.
who did you and you are.
Wait, I think I did this one.
Do you sort into
your-
what?
No, that's
Like
fine. That's
lights and
fine.
darks. Like
Do you have whites, reds, blues, blacks?
No.
whatever?
No.
Yes.
No. Darks and lights.
Yes.
You
No.
you do whites, reds, blues.
I do-
blacks. How
I
many
do
clothes do you watch?
Whites. Okay, to answer the question. I
Oh
do
my gosh.
Whites, tans, nudes.
What?
You know, all
Wait,
the light
you have
colors.
enough for a whole. Oh wait, together in one. Together in
all
one.
the light colors.
you don't
In
use
one
bleach?
load.
Never mind.
You
Yes,
don't use
yes.
bleach?
So this is one
I
load.
thought you meant
no bleach.
those were
Okay,
separate.
you just wash the light ones together.
Oh
they
wait,
don't
no,
need bleach.
no, I do this.
Hold
I
on.
do this.
Then I do like light pastels of like yellows and oranges. Okay. They're different. Then I do a blue load because I have a lot of blue clothes and some teals and greens in there.
How
'cause
often
do you have enough for
your
a load?
laundry?
It's just a lot
so
of
much clothing and in many colors. Then I do
You have to wait a while to get enough for a load?
Yeah, I don't run out of clothes that often. Then I do
Yeah, you have so much clothes.
a dark load of like black clothes, dark grays, dark blues that are too dark for the blue load. And then I
Whoa.
do reds and oranges of like brights or
Wait,
like, yeah.
So you probably have these certain categories
Oh
sitting there
my.
for a long time, or do you do that many loads of laundry in a weekend?
no, like, it's not a weekend. They're sitting there right now, but I'll do them like,
Yeah, how many
there's
loads is
clothes
this?
sitting out right now, and they usually takes me like 3 days because I'll do 2 every day.
Okay, wow. That's
I sort them into like
process.
5 piles.
A process.
Because
Maybe I should do
you know
that.
How
why?
long does it take you to put them away?
A few days because I do it
You
over
just
a few
do
days.
it over a few
Yeah,
days,
you have them in
yeah.
a basket, you put them in. Listen, I bought the Justin Bieber merch, a yellow sweatsuit and a red sweatsuit, and it had an orange sweatshirt. I washed them all together and I noticed, wow, my yellow sweatsuit is a weird color now. It's a weird thing. Oh, the red bled onto it. And then I was like, oh, and look, like my whites are kind of gray and like all these colors are
Gray?
bleeding into
'Cause
each
what?
other. Because you're washing them with dark clothes.
Okay.
You can only
I
wash things
think-
with light colors, and my clothing looks incredible.
I'm pretty sure
There's
my
no
system
bleeding
takes care of
over.
that though, because I just do this light and dark thing, but I put yellow in the lights, and then the other colors are in the darks.
See,
Wow,
even your
this is
pink
so
yellow inches
interesting.
are probably affected. If
Yellow.
you see a picture
oh, no,
of yourself,
I don't put any pinks or oranges or I don't put those in the light ones unless they've been
no,
washed
that's
like
what I'm
100 times.
saying. If you're washing your pinks and orange things with black clothing, you'll probably see a photo of yourself when you first bought a pink shirt and be like, wow, it looks different.
I don't think I have pink shirts now that I'm
Yeah,
thinking
she's
about
not
it.
you
that
don't
much
wear
color.
those colors. I'm just saying you can't wash these bright colors with the black clothes.
What
They
would
need
the
their
pink
own
one do
load.
with the black?
The
black
black
will
will
make
bleed
it
onto the pink
a
and make it
different pink.
darker, and like it's the lint. It
Okay,
gets in it.
this I should do because so many times I wash my clothes and they have
Don't have that
random
much
color
color.
stains on them. I'm just like, well, that's what happens.
But even the lint, because it comes in from the dryer, and when you dry them with their own things, you'll notice they're lighter. You don't even bleach it or anything.
Maybe I
Okay,
should
this
do
is a
that.
less complicated version. This is my system. Whites, it's just white clothes. Light colors, light bright colors, dark colors. That's my
Would
three
that
different-
work?
So the
No.
dark colors is
But
like
you can't put
dark
red in
blue,
with it.
black,
Red and blue together.
gray.
You can't put the red in with though. Could you
No,
put red with the
I
black?
would put red in the bright
No,
colors.
red.
What? I don't have enough red. I have
No,
like one red
the bright
piece.
colors is like
I have a quick
pastels and
cycle
brights.
on my washing machine that is 15 minutes. It is not that much water.
What? I don't
Sometimes
have that.
I'll run like 10 pieces of red clothing.
What?
I don't
throw in
have 10 pieces
Lisa,
of red
I'm
clothing.
gonna try this.
That's
I
my
think you're
problem.
onto
It's so
something
good.
really good.
What do you do if you have one color,
Sheena,
one piece of each
I don't
color?
relate to that.
Yeah, I
I
don't know
wash
what I'm
my
supposed to do.
clothes like every year, and I have 10,000 loads, and I have 10,000 colors.
You
So
can
this
wash
will
Yeah,
work
see,
for
I
me.
have a
Okay.
problem.
Yeah, we have similar wardrobes.
Don't know why
Okay,
I
what
did
do you
this
do?
question because it just asked me too hard. I literally just throw it all in. It's so bad.
So that was with the
Yeah.
black.
now
I
I'm changing my ways. No, this was never washed. It was
See,
in our
it's brand
costume
new.
closet.
It's brand new, but it's
okay.
about to get
I'm
wrecked.
changing my ways.
Good.
From today on, every
Good.
Friday we will be sorting.
Love
I can't
it.
believe you, who fills her gas every Friday and blah blah, does her laundry every Friday, you don't sort your laundry.
Because no one told me why. I didn't understand.
Okay, I
it.
can always tell when someone doesn't because their whites are like gray.
I
Yeah,
will
yeah.
They're not
always
supposed to be gray.
Remember when we were in our old jungle of a laundry room? Don't speak of it. Alex was like trying to run a load, so he ran a red load of all red clothing.
That's not a bad
And I was
idea.
like, I've never even thought of that,
not
and
a
I
bad
was
idea.
like, your brains work so similarly.
Yeah.
And I was
Interesting,
like,
Mom.
that makes
Listen,
sense.
teach
and
this.
you can wash like, tans and very light grays with your white
Kat,
clothing. They won't do anything to it.
What
I
is she
do
gonna
it
do?
and everything looks great because
So
they're
so
all
interesting.
very light.
in laundry
So I'm saying she
Sometimes
never
I
taught
throw-
you like, or us. She didn't teach us, I guess.
because
I think
Mom
she did
sorts
tell
her
me
clothes.
that.
She
But
did.
Mom
I
did like
just
a
ignored it.
delicate
told me to
load
do
where it was
that.
all like these soft fabrics. I don't think about fabrics.
She's always the delicate. Look,
I wash them all like they're
She didn't drill
delicate.
it home. She didn't drill it
I
home.
do
but
all
she
my
did-
clothes
I think at
delicate
some point
cold
she's like,
wash too.
just
But
get it
anyway.
done.
She did address.
Okay, should we move on to the
Yes.
main
Yes.
topic?
Sure.
So Lauren and Amy are the hosts of this topic since they're not with child.
Do you guys want to host like every other question?
Yes, we already thought of that.
It's like,
Are we going
you
older and younger,
idiot.
or-
Yeah, you can start.
Okay.
So this was my idea. Well, actually, I don't know if it was my idea, but I
think it was.
fleshed out this idea. So
yes.
this is basically just, I wanted to hear from our old girls,
Our old gals.
The oldies.
that, just about their postpartum experience. experience, you know, with like
Specifically
their health and
fitness-wise, right?
fitness, body image, just, you know, how it's been for them. I just thought that would be a nice topic. So
a good
we're going to
topic.
ask them some questions and they're going to hopefully answer.
Wow, Lauren is
Like,
Oprah.
I plead the fifth.
Lauren's like, were you silent or were you silent?
Which you're free to do if you would like to.
I'll just start
Hopefully
actually,
the
not you.
Yes.
So
You can start.
here's the first question for you guys. What were your expectations postpartum? How did you think it was gonna be?
Yeah, how did you think it
I
was
feel like
gonna
I can
be?
say mine pretty succinctly. I thought, wait, so we're supposed to be saying more of like the health and fitness aspect, not
Yeah,
everything
yeah,
else.
yeah.
Not mental
Because you're gonna
health or
sleep
the
and all that.
baby. It's
I
just you and
literally-
your
your
body.
body.
I literally thought it would be like, okay, the baby's out, everything's back to normal. That's literally what I thought.
Oh.
Okay.
Even though I feel like no one says that, I just felt
feel
like
like
that
that's a
because I
normal
felt
thing.
like I
Normal thing.
I didn't feel like I changed that much. But then I figured out I did after the baby was out.
Yes.
But I didn't feel like I did when the baby was in. aka
Okay.
birth. That's what I thought.
didn't think about it. All I thought
Yeah, I
was
didn't think about that
you're,
much
you're
either.
pregnant, you're pregnant, you're pregnant, you're pregnant, you're pregnant, and then you give birth. And then it's a black hole of like,
Yeah.
what is after? I would be like, oh, I can't wait to, give her a hug. That was it. And you think all the weight that you're gaining is in your stomach. You think it's all
Which
this
most of
big
mine was.
bump. Well, it was.
Most of mine
but
was in my
Most of
stomach.
mine is in my stomach actually, so that's kind of funny. But it feels like it's just your bump, and once
Yeah.
it goes away, you're like, oh yeah, that I have like a
I thought
a
it wasn't
50-pound
yeah,
baby.
Like,
That's
just
all.
my bump.
Yeah, and then it goes, and then the baby's out, and it's been a week,
Like,
and
it
you're like,
wasn't
wait,
just
what?
my bump.
But I had no expectations. I didn't think about it. We're not saying what really happened, right? Just what.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
just
what
what
you
did you
think.
expect?
Yeah, I literally didn't think about it, and I just was like, whoa.
I'd like to say, God bless those people on Instagram. I wouldn't do it, but I love it when people do this. Who post the picture of them postpartum in the diaper
They post the postpartum
with
baby.
their belly that looks still pregnant, because you still look pregnant after you give birth. That's a thing.
Oh.
Your belly is
Mine
still
actually
so-
didn't. I had
Oh,
a
really?
different situation.
Well, I had twins. I don't
Different
know.
situation.
But I think even if you don't have twins, a lot of people, their belly is just really swollen after you give birth. It's not like, oh, I'm a flat
yeah,
stomach
Actually,
person.
maybe I didn't see mine for a while.
And so I would like to say, God bless those people, because that gave
scared
me
to look
such a
at it.
realistic view that, like, oh, you still look pregnant after you give birth. Because
Okay.
you have tissue,
you had a realistic
you have
idea.
swelling, you have like water, like all this extra stuff that, and also like extra weight that you gain. And I would also like to say, I saw a lot of women on Instagram that, which, you know what? God bless you too. If this is you, great. You are
Bless
winning at
you.
life. They only gain weight in their stomach. Good for you. That's awesome. Great.
That's what I thought.
I
that
can't relate
was.
to that.
That's what thought
I
was.
realize coming from being a certain, like a more very slim body type before to after, I gained weight in my whole body. So, I realized that
Hey,
some
so did
people,
I. Surprise, surprise.
and then some people, they're like 2 months postpartum, they look the exact same as they did
what I
before.
thought.
So it's
Emily
like,
Ratajkowski, 10 days.
I
She
just like
was
to say,
untouched.
yeah, my
She's
experience and my
otherworldly.
expectation was, as I was going through pregnancy, I was like, seeing these people that had like literally just like a basketball in their stomach and their arms and legs and face was like super skinny, I was like, oh, that's not me. Okay, I can tell. Okay, this is different.
Okay.
So yeah, I would say my expectation like just was that I would be not looking my best, and I was right.
Wow,
So
good
yeah,
for you.
yeah.
Love that.
Mine was so different than what I thought.
Okay, our next question for you ladies is how did you feel right after giving birth? I don't
Okay.
know what right after
Once again, it's
means
about like body
exactly.
Yeah,
image.
let
'Cause I
me-
keep thinking the
No,
wrong
no.
answer here.
Okay.
I'm like, I felt traumatized.
Here's the
Okay, but yours was traumatic.
Yeah, listen. Here's the ups and the downs, the highs and the lows. Start with the high. I was so swollen before I gave birth. My hands, my face, my feet were full of fluid, and it was so funny because my
Relatable.
husband commented on it like 10 days in. He was like, I feel like I'm watching you shrink because all the
Oh,
fluid
you had so much
was
fluid.
leaving my
Yeah.
body. I looked at my ankles. I was like, I have the most attractive ankles I've ever seen. Wow, like never appreciated these ankles before because all the fluid left.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. I was at the highest weight, like by far, like a lot more than I'd ever weighed. But after I lost my bump, like 10 days in or whatever, I was like, I am so tiny. Woo! Like I was wearing these really tight outfits. Like, look how skinny I am, everyone. And I look back, I'm like, I think it was the hormones and everything. I was like, look at this body. That did not last because like 2 months in, I was like, oh gosh, what the heck? But immediately the contrast was so shocking that I was like, whoa. But then it went away, and I was like, okay, so when did I go back to like the before? Okay, when's
Yeah.
that happening? Oh, today. No, today. Nope. Tomorrow. Nope. And eventually it started hitting me. Oh, okay, so we're parked right here. We're not moving.
You're like, how does this move? Okay, mine's almost identical to her, except for I didn't really swell. I didn't really have a bunch of
Oh,
swelling.
wait, I can tell you, you did come home with a bump from the hospital because you said you don't remember.
Yes,
I
it was a
was like,
little
oh, she
thing.
looks
I
still
thought it was
pregnant.
going to be like
Yeah.
a big swollen thing,
But, yeah,
but
I
it
know.
wasn't as big as I thought. Is
Yeah.
what I was saying. I was
And
thinking.
I don't remember because I
I
didn't
thought
want
it
to
was
look at
gonna
my
be like a
stomach
big
from the
thing.
C-section. I was like, I don't want to see it.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be
I just kept
bigger.
my gown on the whole time. I don't know.
I remember it was like a small thing, but I thought it was gonna be like this big swollen thing, but it wasn't at least. But I didn't look at it in the first. I didn't look at my stomach for like a week maybe because I was so scared
shower
of
for a
seeing
week.
the scar because I had like a fear of surgery and all that. So I was so scared to look at the scar.
Was
I
it?
was, like,
What did it
freaked
look like
out.
when you looked at it?
Really?
What is it?
It
was
looked scary.
Was it scary?
Mine's just like these little
It was
tapes
scary.
and,
It was like
little
all these
lines.
tapes and it's like kind of like black.
Was it like red or?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was gross.
I would be
Mine's really
scared. I'd be
thin,
like, "Ugh."
but it's like,
I really hated it, but then I
Yeah.
got over it. I'm over it now. But anyway, yeah, same thing. I was just like, I actually felt, I felt like pretty thin.
You're like, hold me closer, tiny dance.
Because I lost like 20 something pounds. So I was like, wow, the baby's gone. Wow, this is crazy.
Yeah, and it's like I can touch my toes.
But then I did gain weight after. So it's a little bit different. I did start to gain weight in my postpartum journey like a month or two
which
later.
is also common. People don't talk about that.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's from the lack of sleep.
So it's a little confusing.
a bunch
It
of
was,
stuff.
I have a whole thing to say. But okay,
Ooh, okay,
what-
okay.
how did you feel directly after?
Just physically, not all the other things you
Yeah.
talk about.
Well, okay, so I got a really bad rash right before, like for the last month of pregnancy.
yeah.
And so it was really disgusting, but my legs were covered in scabs.
Oh.
And I kept scratching them because it was still itchy, even for a few days after. And I would
Girl.
like bleed on the sheets, and the nurses were like, "Oh, are you okay?" So it was really gross. And then I had postpartum preeclampsia, so my blood pressure started rising right before I gave birth, and then it rose really high to like seizure level right like 3 days later. So one of the main things is swelling. So I was
You were swelling after
Oh
more.
my gosh, wait.
yeah.
In the hospital, my knees were like this wide each. They
Oh.
swole. When I was in the bed and not walking around very much, they swelled up huge. I think
Whoa,
because
that's
the
scary.
epidural and all the fluids
Yeah.
of my
Right.
diabetes.
Okay,
it
I didn't
built
have
up.
any fluids, obviously,
After I
like
got
that.
home, it went away. But in the hospital, I was like,
Oh
oh
my
my gosh, I
gosh.
thought it's even more swollen. Like a record level.
Yeah, and when I look
Whoa.
at pictures of myself, I'm like, I looked so sick and I felt so sick. And so I just remember looking in the mirror and I was like a giant balloon, and they did the magnesium treatment where you do 24 hours of magnesium pulling fluid out of your body. And they were like, whoa, they're like, do you see these bags? They were pulling these bags. They were like, we have literally pulled liters of fluid out of your body. I was like, it wasn't like a needle.
It just
pull.
freaks
no,
me
yeah,
out.
It just was like, it was just
It just
coming
freaks
out.
me out. The idea.
See,
just
when
freaks
people are
me
like,
out.
oh, birth is so beautiful. Like, it's also ugly as heck
I feel like
sometimes.
nobody
Yeah,
says that.
I just remember
No,
looking.
so many
Yeah.
people say
So many
that.
people
Oh my
do.
I
gosh.
just remember looking in the
It's
mirror and I was
beautiful.
still like very swollen looking and just not I didn't feel like myself for a very long time. And I just remember being like,
who is this
oh, it makes me
person?
kind of sad to think about that. I'm like, I was just like, this is what I look like now. That's how I felt genuinely like for probably a couple months. I think I was also really depressed too. So it was like, that definitely affects, but I was like really traumatic. Like I did this thing that I felt was, heroic in a way. Like you feel like, wow, I can't believe I did that. And then you're just like, when people say like your body is wrecked, I don't like that, but that's truly how I felt. Like
hate
I
it
was
when
like,
people say that.
I felt like my
okay,
body was
though.
like wrecked in that
That's-
moment because it's just
your
like
body is
everything was
wrecked.
so loose
Your
and
body's
like,
literally wrecked. It doesn't mean it's
Yeah.
wrecked forever, but it gets wrecked.
and I think it's really hard too.
It goes
like when
through
you're,
a lot.
I never experienced so much weight gain and swelling and like I couldn't even put my shoes on because my feet were so
rashes and all
swollen.
that.
So it was just like really bad. I think I'm still like I think I'm getting a lot better and like making peace with myself, but definitely not good.
that is not something people should downplay and be like, oh, it's so beautiful. Get over it, blah, blah. It's like you have to
Yeah.
just address the feelings, process them, move on. But you can't just play it away or don't you love your babies? It's
Yeah,
all
I think you
at the
can
same
be
time.
proud of yourself that you did something amazing and also be like, this is really hard
Yeah.
to like
Yeah.
adjust. It's really
Yeah.
hard. Especially like if there wasn't so much pressure put on women to bounce back right after,
There's
I feel
way
like
too
it wouldn't
much.
be like that. Because I think it's the pressure. If people were like, oh, you're supposed to look different after you literally birth a human or two in that case, but it's not that way. It's like,
Well,
oh,
and
well,
maybe-
now when are you going to go back to the gym? When are you going to do this?
Because it's
like,
your job as a woman to be
Give me a
conventionally attractive.
Yeah, and to look how
It's
other
your
people
job.
want you to look. It's so stupid.
Hate
But
That's
Yeah.
a lot of weight to carry.
okay, literally, and metaphorically.
Truth.
Okay, so our next question is, what was your plan, if you made one, before giving birth, as far as like what
Fitness
you're
and
gonna do
stuff?
Yeah.
fitness wise, or soon after giving birth, if you
Oh
made
my
one soon after,
gosh.
and how
Okay.
did it change?
So-
if so,
Oh my
Once
gosh.
again, my doula was like, so the period right after, you really have to recover. Like, don't worry about losing the weight. That will come. And I was like, because I was so surrendered to the weight gain and all that during pregnancy, I just let it go. I was like, I'm not even thinking about that. And it didn't even cross my mind until like afterwards, like a few weeks later. And I was like, oh, I should probably go on a walk and like get moving and stuff. But like, I had no plan. I had no concept of it. I thought it wouldn't bother me at all because it wasn't bothering me when I was pregnant. But then I gave birth and I was like, oh wait, we're parked. How do we move? I felt like I was really trying, but also I wasn't trying that hard. But I wasn't sleeping. There's all these factors. Like, yeah, you can't try that hard. If I were to try really hard, I'd run myself into the ground. So
Yeah.
my plan was like, do what you can when you can until 8
a good
months.
plan.
8 months was when Lily like really was sleeping through the night, and I was sleeping because after she started sleeping through the night, long after that, I still had anxiety and stuff where I'd like wake up, oh my gosh, is her room too hot? Is her room too cold? Like I could not relax. And finally, when I was sleeping, she was sleeping, and like I'm in a good place now. I'm like, okay, I've been wanting to get on this, but I've also been letting myself not be on it and
Yeah.
just wait until I'm ready. And now I'm like, okay, I feel good enough to do a workout and feel fine after. Because if I'm gonna feel like crap after the workout, what's the point?
Yeah.
So for a long time, it was just walks here and there. No diet changes because I was breastfeeding. I was like, I'm hungry. I'm eating a lot of whatever I want, whenever I want. I'm just trying to walk and like move because in the end of my pregnancy, I didn't at all for the whole month.
Breastfeeding
I
hunger
barely-
is so intense.
Oh my gosh. I went to breakfast with the chat and I was like, well, I'm kind of shocked at myself. I got this big, it's not a breakfast sandwich. It's like turkey and bacon and all that. It's this big and like really thick bread. I got that. And then I got a giant piece of Nutella toast with strawberries on it. And then like another side of oatmeal or something. I ate all of it. And that was
Yeah,
just
you just
my
like
breakfast.
wolf it
I was
down and
like-
you're like, oh,
You
I
told
was
feel
like,
completely
I don't
normal.
even feel stuffed right now. What's going on?
and so
Yep.
thirsty. So hungry, so thirsty.
Mine. Okay, so let's
Oh
see.
wait, I was gonna say, and now my plan changed where I'm tracking my macros, trying to make sure I'm getting enough protein, staying in a really good calorie range that's not like low, it's just lower because I was eating like a horse before. And I do
You
cycling
mean you're not doing 1,200 calories a day?
per meal. No, I'm not doing 1,200 calories per meal anymore. And I do cycling in my house, and I do like hilly walks with a stroller, and I
Wow.
do some like lunges and stuff here and there. But it's just if I'm feeling like it, or like wall sits, just whatever. But it's mainly the cycling and the walking.
You're not eating chicken and broccoli and running 4 miles a day?
Oh, I do eat chicken.
That's all
and
you
broccoli,
do? No,
but
that's
I
the only
don't-
thing you eat?
No.
Okay, so mine was very drastically different. So than I thought it was going to be. So I thought, oh, after 6 weeks, you're cleared for exercise, and then you can exercise. So I thought, then I'm going to go on walks, and I'm going to exercise, and blah, blah. So I lost a lot of blood and I don't know if you ever lost a lot of blood, you may have had this
I know it,
experience.
girl.
Like Amy did it for at one point, and it took her months to be able to even walk up the stairs. I remember.
Took me.
We had to
I
move her
slept
bed
for a
downstairs.
while.
It's hard to explain, but it makes you so
Tired.
weak.
Yes.
And you faint easily, which I did
Yeah.
faint when I got home. Like a week later, from walking around for 20 minutes in the house, I fainted. I'm like, Nick, I'm fainting, and then I sat down because I faint pretty slowly. But I got onto the couch right
for
as I was
you.
fainting. Yeah, luckily I have a slow faint.
gosh.
And so I thought that's what it would be, but that was absolutely not what it was. So
Were you even cleared for exercise at 6 weeks?
yeah, technically yes.
You shouldn't have
So I went on a walk, and I had like some symptoms, some like pelvic floor symptoms. I was working at a pelvic floor physical therapist, and then she had me start with 3-minute walks. So I was timing a minute and a half, and then turning around and coming back,
That's
and that was
wild.
my daily walk. And I had to slowly work up because I wasn't strong enough. I didn't have the strength. I was really weak. and I was getting pelvic floor symptoms as well. So it was like a bunch of things at
And
once.
those are not anything you want to mess with.
No, you do not.
You gotta be
I was
careful.
so paranoid about that. So I was not starting back up with like a light exercise thing. I was starting with 3-minute walks. And then she said, when you go on that walk enough times and you don't get any negative symptoms after, you can go up to 5 minutes and then 7 and then 10.
Torture.
Every
That is
couple days,
torture.
every couple days, I added 2 or 3 minutes to the walk. I very slowly worked back up to 30 minutes to 40 minutes to an hour. It took months and months. And so then during this time, I lost so much muscle. So much muscle. So I was sitting on the couch all day. So I had a C-section. I couldn't really use any of these muscles. And I had lost so much blood. I was really weak. And I was really depressed and anxious. So I had and I wasn't sleeping. I had a child who literally did not sleep and who breastfed every hour and a half.
Oh, wow.
So I fed for 45 minutes and then I waited 45 minutes and then I fed him again. So he didn't sleep. So he would wake up like every hour or 2 hours, and we got lucky with some 4-hour stretches every once in a while. So I did not sleep, and then I was just sitting there all day, utterly exhausted. And then I was eating so much because I was hungry from breastfeeding, but I was also hungry just emotionally because the food was the only thing.
You're like, please.
Well, I mean, emotionally, it was the only thing that
You
like
look
made
forward
me
to.
feel okay in the day because there was like nothing else. Like, what else was I doing? I was literally just
So
sitting there.
true.
My walks are like my favorite part of my day.
You can't
3
even go on
minutes.
your walk or walk.
3 minutes, okay?
Girl.
And then I'm just sitting there. I'm like, what is my life? Sleeping. I love relaxing, going to bed, sleeping.
Can't do that.
Didn't have that anymore. And by the way, I'm mentioning all negative things because that's what this part is, but there are so many positive things I'm not mentioning right now.
But it's tough.
So anyway, to sum this up, it was months and months and months. I didn't really do much of a workout. Maybe 8, 9 months later, I started kind of, but a year later is when I actually started to gain my strength back. And I did make a great like recovery. It was really great. But what was I gonna say? Oh, I went to the doctor 6 or 7 months in and got all my levels tested, and my cortisol levels were really in the toilet. Like there was a graph what's supposed to be, and then mine, which
you
I
had
knew,
low cortisol?
like incredibly low. They said apparently first it goes high for a while. That's the beginning stages, and then when it goes really low,
That's like burnout.
Like allegedly.
That's so interesting.
That's what they say. Whatever. So it's like a theory type of thing, but whatever. I tested them. Mine were like really low, which I knew I could feel it. I was just like, I would wake up and just be like, bleh. So I was waking up so many times every night, so stressed all night long for like about 9 months. And it was just like kind of torture, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then I was gaining weight this whole time as well. So I think I gained like 10 pounds postpartum in not that many months, like pretty quickly, because all I did was sit and eat. I didn't really move that much. And I ate so much emotionally. I'd just be like, okay, what can I eat now? What can I eat now? Like, how can I
That's
cheer
all
myself
you
up with food
had.
now?
It's like, what
That's all
else
I
do you have to
had.
look forward to? Yeah.
That was all I had.
That's
So,
sad and relatable.
wait, did I answer the question?
Yeah, what was your plan? How to change? Your plan was 6 weeks.
And it
woo,
drastically
then it was a
changed.
3-minute
It was
walk.
like,
Yeah,
nope.
not gonna keep going.
Okay.
It drastically
For you.
changed. That was my plan.
Wait, so what was the question again?
what was your plan and how did it
change?
change?
Okay.
Did you have a plan?
Like before you gave
I don't
birth.
know that I really had a plan because I didn't know how I was going to feel. And everyone kept saying, oh, I mean, with any baby, but with twins even more, you're just in survival mode. So I was just like, okay, my plan is to survive, which I
You did.
But one of the things that really affected my fitness was, and this like really like affected me in a way I didn't expect, was I was on beta blockers, which I didn't realize how intense blood pressure medication is until I was on it. Lisa's husband knows. We bonded over this. It is, to me, it was honestly hell on earth. Like the symptoms I experienced from being on beta blockers for 5 weeks postpartum exacerbated everything, and like I truly felt like I couldn't really function. Like I had tremors, I had blurred vision, I had dizziness, and I also had a lot of like panic attacks and anxiety, which is apparently a big part of beta blockers. So I
That's so
remember
sad.
I like it'd been
And
like
it's a part of postpartum.
and I begged
That's
my
probably
doctors
double.
if I could go off them because my blood pressure went back to normal, and I was like, please, can I get off these like a week early? And she let me. So I was only on them for 5 instead of 6 weeks. But I remember like going to the grocery store. I was so excited to finally get out of the house. I was probably like 4 or 5 weeks postpartum. And I remember I was walking and I started getting really like, like my heart would race and I was really shaky. And I felt, and it was because of the beta blockers. I felt like I could not function. So that gave me a whole new appreciation for health and fitness, just as a simple concept of like, I've never felt to the point with my health where I cannot function until I was on the beta blockers. And I realized later on, like, wow, I just want to be healthy to like play with my children and like go on
grocery
hikes
store
and swim and do all the things I love. So I started really making goals of like walking to the mailbox without shaking and like feeling really dizzy, which when I did that for the first time, I was really proud of myself. So I'd say my plan, and then I joined like bar studio and I started doing bar classes, and that really helped me regain a lot of my strength. So now I'm kind of reassessing, and I feel like my plan now is just continue to rebuild my strength and just really have a holistic view of health, of me as a whole person, like physical, mental, emotional, and kind of, I feel like it all feeds into each other. So that's kind of my plan now.
Love that.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, let me try. Okay. How did your body image change and how did you cope? What'd you do?
Okay, I will summarize. I had body image issues throughout my teen years, and then in my early 20s, I like accepted myself, and I was like, you know what? I don't even think about it that much anymore. Sometimes I think I look great, or I think I look bad. I just don't feel that much emotion around it, and I was like good to go for like 7 years. And then after I had the bebe, at first, like I said, I was really excited, and then I was like, who are you? What is going on here? What is that? What is that? Like, I don't know about this. And I actually felt insecure for the first time in a long time. And I was like, oh, I don't like this at all. It does not feel good. I want to get out of this, but I don't know how. And like, do I just accept this as my new normal, or do I try to change it? They both kind of feel like wrong to me. It didn't really feel like a right path was so obvious of like, oh yeah, just stay here and love
so
it.
true.
Or move on and hate it. It's like,
That's so true.
So I've been trying to find this in between. I mean, honestly, the one thing that really helped, maybe you're not supposed to rely on people's opinions, but I was always complaining about it. I just want to change. I want to do that. My husband's like, I mean, I think you look like really good. And I was like, what? Did you tell me that? He's like, you guys complaining about it. I didn't want to be like, you're wrong, but I think you look amazing. And I was like,
oh, that's really nice.
Thank you. After that, I started feeling really good. I was like, okay, so I don't need change for him. That's great. Maybe I wasn't in the first place, but I was like, you can't think I look good like this. I don't know. You know, your hormones mess with you. So then it's been more of just like, all right, let's just do some stuff and see where we end up. I don't really have this like rigid goal anymore of like, I need to get back, or like, you must be here now and love it. It's just, yeah, I don't know if that makes sense.
Like,
Yeah,
seeing
I
what
feel
works.
kind of confused also. Like what Lisa said, I feel like it was all
That's so
very
true.
relatable. It is confusing because it's like accepting things 100% doesn't fully feel right, and then obviously
Because you
hating
went through all
yourself doesn't
this-
feel right either.
And you're in this place and you're like, wait, this doesn't feel like the peak of health. Why should I
Yeah.
be like, yeah, this
Okay,
is great? But then
look-
you don't want to be like, ugh, I hate it.
I don't know. Yeah, it's really confusing because it's like the weight gain postpartum was the result of severe depression. So I didn't look at that and be like,
Yeah.
loving it. So it's kind of confusing for me. I guess I'm still thinking about it a lot, but I think a big thing that changed is it just made me think about a lot of things about what do I feel like I didn't think about it as much before. What do I really think about like a woman's body and like society's expectations, blah, blah. And the thing about men is something I thought about a lot. I realized how brainwashed I was to think that men will only be attracted to you, aka my husband, if you have this like whatever the perfect body is supposed to be, which is not included in a postpartum body, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just it's not true for my husband, at least. I mean, I'm sure there are a bunch of jerk husbands out there, but same kind of thing. He just his view of me like didn't change at all. And I think I realized how brainwashed I was because I think I was thinking it would.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I guess the biggest, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like I haven't, I've been thinking about this a lot, but I feel like I haven't thought it through enough to.
It's such a
I think after
journey.
this baby, I'll probably get more perspective.
It's such a journey. How
I mean,
are you
it's only
supposed to
the first
arrive at a
baby.
destination? You're always
Yeah,
pre-processing.
I guess I'm in kind of the
And
same
I feel like
place.
every baby's going to be different
Yeah.
too. Your
And
body's
It's
going
the
to be
thing
different.
Lisa said. That's what I would say for this one. I'm going to be thinking about this a lot more, and it'll be really interesting to see after this baby. So we'll come back then, and I'll say what I think then. But I
wonder
like
if it'll be
what Lisa
different
said.
the second time. Yeah, because I feel like I just keep thinking, oh, the next time, like I'm gonna know so much more, and it's gonna be like a little easier. But yeah, I would say for me, it's been definitely challenging. I think what you said is really what's the word, like
Poignant?
poignant, like really profound. Yeah, it's like you don't really
Yeah,
want to
it's
stay
weird.
where
Oh, yeah.
you are, but you also don't want to. Because to me, I think back to like before when I was so overly restrictive with food and overly obsessed with exercise. So I've never like lost weight in a way that I think is healthy or positive. I have a really, for me personally, I have very negative association with that. So what I think everyone has to, you know, based on your own background, you have to approach it for what
I've never
works.
lost weight before, so it's a weird thing to be at. I'm
Right.
like, I've never lost
when
weight.
I say lost weight,
in my
it was
life.
like when I was a twig and I was like, I need to lose 5 pounds. And then it was like, oh, let me like do this stupid diet, whatever.
It's weird.
So stupid. But I'm not to anyone else, but I'm saying for myself, I was dumb. But where I am now, it's like this thing where you're like, when I was super thin, I'm just being honest, it was like, I felt like my clothes looked really good. And it's hard to like dress yourself when you're in a bigger body, like, or at least when you're not used to it.
We should add that to the next episode. We're going to do a next episode about this, but we should talk about
Yeah.
dressing in the new body and accepting all
my
these
gosh,
things.
yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause
so I
that's
would say
confusing.
I did a post about this and I got so many responses. Like I think this is something that a lot of women resonate with. Where I'm at now is like I'm trying to walk that tension of I really want to be healthy for the reasons I mentioned. Like I want to be healthy to play with my kids and have lots of energy, which I feel like I'm really on my way there. And like I was talking to my friend about this who's also in a similar journey that we're kind of going together. It's like we want to enjoy our fitness. Like we want to, like we both love swimming laps. We both want to like play tennis. Like we want to do things that are fun and active and like enjoy it instead of just, I don't know. I kind of actually quit bar because I'm like, I felt like the bar classes ended up making me kind of hate myself in a way. Because it was just like the vibe was really negative. Not saying it was anyone else's fault. It could have just been my interpretation. But, and then also, so it's like, so yeah, it's walking the tension between I want to love and accept myself no matter where I'm at, because I think hating yourself where you are is not a good
helpful.
motivator, at least in my
But
past
I'm also
experience.
not ecstatic about where I'm at right now.
Right, but at the same time, I think about it and I'm like, when I was really
confusing.
thin and I look back and I'm like, wow, anything you wore looks good on you. I never liked how I looked. So I'm like, I think it's a mirage.
So it's like, is it even possible?
I don't think it's even true. I think you have to learn to love yourself right now and be working towards your goals. And if you can't do both, you're never going to be happy.
Then you got to really.
Yeah.
Because there's always going to be like, even if you get to a place where you're like, wow, my body looks amazing, you could have like a week of eating a lot of meals that maybe you don't, and then you lose your 6-pack and you're like, oh man, I gotta get back to it. Like you're always gonna be like
Coming
teetering.
back.
So it's like you might as well learn to at least somewhat be okay with where you are now, while you're also like, you know. So anyway, last thing I'll say is like, I think I said this before, but like, I'm focusing on adding things in. I think restricting
same.
is, for me specifically, that's a mind
Painful.
like warp. Like I should not be doing that because I have a history of that.
Nobody likes well, maybe some people do.
Like saying
nobody
can't
likes
eat
restricting
carbs. I can't eat sugar. For me, that's very triggering.
Depressing.
So I'm going to be more like, I want to focus on adding in balanced meals. Like, what am I eating? Oh, let me cut up some fruit so it's easier to have some fruit for a snack.
Can I make a balanced meal that I love?
Like
I'm
last
so
night I was eating
excited
strawberries
about.
and I was like, wow, strawberries are so good. If I just like cut them up, put them in a Tupperware,
Strawberries
so
are
I can
I do
so
it at the
good.
end of every week,
Okay,
and it's such a
that's
game changer.
smart. So
I
it's
cut
like-
up all my
and
strawberries.
It's like, oh, I should drink more water. Like it's adding in things, and I should go. I wanted to walk with my friend like the last couple nights in a row. So it's like adding these
Cute,
small
love
things
that.
in, because I really think, especially having a husband who's a personal trainer, he's really taught me that fitness and health is a lifestyle, and if it's not sustainable, if you can't do what you're doing now for 10 years later, you're not going to do it.
Well, and
So,
the
yeah.
long-term
real problem.
effects are very hard on your body from going back and forth to restriction, not restriction.
yeah.
You might lose weight, but can you keep it off for 5 years? And the statistics say most of the time, no.
Yeah.
So you have to really like think, can I do this in the long term?
Yeah, it's like the thing of trying to run the car with no gas in it. It wrecks the car after. a
Yeah.
while.
So
So
that's
we
kinda
should
where
do
I'm at.
another, because we do have more to say on this one. We'll think of another theme of it, but we should do another postpartum episode. And
You
we'll
could also
think
do a
more
general how to
specifically.
deal with a changing body kind of vibe.
Oh yeah, we could do a
Because
changing body
your
one.
body changes a
talk
ton
about
in your
things.
life. Like when
So
you hit
true.
25,
That's a good
your
idea.
metabolism slows.
Because
you
we
know?
talked about a lot of specific postpartum things, but I think the changing body thing we could really get into more.
Yeah.
And we can all talk about that. That's a really good idea. Let me write that down.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll do a changing body episode. So
I feel like that's the caregiving of you. LOL.
Kath is going to exit before we start Sister Spotlight and
Yes,
go
I gotta go feed the boys.
And we're gonna get into Sister
The
Spotlight.
aforementioned
All right,
twins.
And I'm gonna write that idea. All right, so Kath's feeding the twins. I just told you that, but we're doing Sister Spotlight to wrap up this episode. Dang it, I thought of something else to wrap up that segment, and now I forgot what it was.
We're gonna do more.
Whatever. I thought of something important. Okay, whatever. So, Sister Spotlight, where a different sister gets a spotlight each week. We have Get Real with Christina, Sappy or Sassy Thoughts with Kath, Lisa's Corner, Amy's Current Crisis, and Lauren's Take. And this week,
don't
the
wanna do it
sister
anymore. I'm over it.
with
You
the
don't need to.
spotlight, I love it, is
You don't have to if you don't want to.
Ding!
Christina.
Me.
That's why you love it. I'm just kidding.
So I wrote some notes. It's just exciting. I wrote some notes on mine so I didn't forget anything. So I'm going to read part of this. Okay. And I have to start with a statement. I feel like if I say disclaimer, it turns your ears off. It's more of a statement. Okay. So let me state my first thing. Then I'll state my statement.
Your statement.
So
I'm scared.
Get Real with Christina. The title is Why the Statement, as long as the baby's healthy, it's all that matters when it comes to labor, delivery, birth, is something that I don't agree with.
Hurtful.
Love it.
Hurtful. Let's say that.
Hurtful to some. Hurtful to many. How
Now,
about that?
if you've said that, it's totally fine. It
Doesn't
comes
mean
from a good
anything
place.
about you. It's
Comes
just
from a
about
good
the
place.
statement.
But just hear me out. Hear me out. So the birth world is a very wild world of controversy.
Wild.
People are on wildly different ends of the spectrum, and they get angry.
They do.
People I would know because I've been putting up videos and talking and such. I'm not being inflammatory at all.
It's a very sensitive
I'm not even being inflammatory. I can't imagine if I
maybe
was.
one of the most sensitive subjects in human history.
Yeah.
I would say. So, here is what I'm going to start with my statement. I'm going to say to everyone, no matter how you gave birth or give birth, you're not a failure. You should never be ashamed of yourself or your birth experience, even if it wasn't ideal. You're learning and growing as a person, and you're doing your best, and you did your best with the information you had at the time. Just because one woman has one birth preference and you may have another doesn't mean that either of you is lesser of a person or an idiot or a lesser of a mom. We need to stop shaming women for their birth choices. And that's the bottom line. Stop shaming.
You tell 'em.
Let me get into
Hey,
it.
this is all the preface?
That was my preface.
Wow, okay.
That was my preface. It might be
That was
equally
a
as
good
long. I don't know.
preface.
That was my preface. I'm just saying
That's
you're not a
part one.
failure. Don't freak out. Whatever. So now here's what I'm getting into. Why that statement, as long as the baby's healthy, it's all that matters. Why I don't agree with that? Because I believe your mental health matters as well. Aren't we in 2022 where we say mental health matters as much as physical health? Isn't that where we are at? So why would we say that? And also, if you actually really care about the baby's health, you would care about the mom's mental health. Because a mom with major mental health problems postpartum, which can be common, is a thing, can be dangerous for the baby or just detrimental and unhealthy for the baby. So if you do care about the baby, even if you don't care about the mom, you should care about the mom just
For
because
the
you
baby's sake.
allegedly cared about the baby. I have to say this because it's weird. When I talk about this stuff, a lot of women get really defensive about other women caring about their birth experience. And it's confusing
I would
and
guess
strange.
they didn't feel cared for, and they don't want to feel like they should have been cared for. It's like, oh no, it's okay, it's normal. Like it's just they haven't processed it. I would guess.
Yeah, it's
That makes sense.
rough. So, birth trauma matters. This statement sounds like it doesn't matter. Like, oh, you had a traumatic birth. Oh, well, at least your baby's healthy. No. I'm glad my baby's healthy, and I was traumatized in the process, and I would like to get help, and I would like to heal from it, and that matters. That's important. It's not some insignificant thing. It's weird because you don't say that in other instances.
Yeah.
Most of the time,
Yeah.
it's like someone goes through like a traumatic injury, and they're like, oh, well, maybe people would say, at least you're alive, whatever.
People definitely say that.
Yeah, that's not, okay, at least your baby is healthy after you went through that traumatic injury. Think about that. It's like, okay, yeah, I have a healthy baby, but I also have a traumatic injury.
It's like, I can be grateful that
They
my
can both
healthy
happen. Yeah.
baby is healthy.
They can both coexist. And women's birth experiences matter is a statement I want to say. Women's birth experiences matter because women matter. We're not insignificant. We don't just not matter.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know. It's a thing throughout time. It's like women have, we've been stepped on in different ways. And
Yeah.
one way is in women's health It's like these things are not studied enough. There's so much unknown about birth and labor. There's so much unknown, but it matters. Women matter, and what happens to them matters. So I think that I can pretty much is mostly what I wanted to say. But just talking to all the people who are kind of saying it, you shouldn't care. You shouldn't have preferences. You should just, that's a different topic. You should just blindly, which I'm making a video on this, okay? You should blindly follow your doctor. I believe in listening to professionals, but not blindly listening to professionals. So difference. The last thing I'm saying is you're not a failure no matter how you birth. Everyone has the right to their own preferences and deserves an experience where they are respected, their rights are upheld, and their concerns are listened to and taken seriously. Which, by the way, not everyone even agrees with that, because when I was saying stuff like that, a bunch of women were giving me contrary arguments.
That you
Like,
don't
how do you
deserve
argue against that? About that whole thing. Yeah, they're like, no, you don't need to have concerns. Just listen to your doctor. I can have concerns and listen to them at the same time. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Just saying. Just saying.
Well, no offense, but you are the person that's going to fight for your individual health. There's not another person that's going to do it for you. Like, listen to the doctor, like, hear what they have to say. But it's like, at the end of the day, that doctor cares for a bunch of people in one day. And it's like, you are the one that has to live with what happens to you after the doctor's done.
Don't erase your own opinion or intuition or feelings in the process is what I'm saying. I have a doctor. I'm not having a doctor. I have a doctor, okay? And I haven't met my new doctor yet, but I'm hoping that he's amazing. It's what I hear. So I don't have anything against doctors. Nothing. The only thing I have is something against people who don't respect other people, whether they're a doctor or a nurse or just not a doctor or a nurse. That's the only thing that I'm saying. So once again, I'll say shout out to all the amazing doctors and nurses who respect their patients.
Yes.
There are many
You
angels
are
who work in
amazing.
hospitals.
You're
You are
amazing,
great.
and you're
Confirmed.
changing lives.
You
and I
are.
hope that I come in contact with you when I give birth to this baby. I would love to come in contact with only people in that category. That'd be great.
Love it.
All right, that is my full statement.
Woo! You stayed, girl.
Thank
You
so
stayed.
much.
And there will still be people who disagreed with that.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
But
People
guess what?
disagree with all
You
of our
are
opinions.
free to disagree
Free
with
to
that.
disagree.
And you can have your
Free to
own
be
preferences, and I get to have
Yes,
mine. It's so great, right?
exactly.
And I'm not going to shame you for yours.
Love it.
I'm not.
Would never list it.
I'm not going to.
We're not giving
All
it
right,
back.
guys, that was our episode, and we're going to say goodbye.
We're
now.
gonna TTYL.
Bye.
We're gonna TTYL. So we'll see you in the next one.
We just end, right? We
Yeah.
don't have a. Okay. Well,
You've been listening to the Cimarelli podcast. Follow Cimarelli on Spotify and subscribe on YouTube. You can also find Cimarelli on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.